opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello everyone. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I couldn't get my mic to work, so I don't know what I did wrong, but I got it fixed, and I told Shelly to join me. So now she's here tonight, and I met her on Spaces on X, and a few other people were telling me about a few things about her and how she was. Dealing with Antifa and all that type of stuff. So I thought, wow, it would be great if I could get her to come on the show and tell us about, her experience and what kind of things are going on with her. Because you live in Oregon, right?
I do. Yes.
So she's right up there personally involved, and it's affected her life. And so it'd be interesting for us to find out a little bit about what's going on with you, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, I don't mind sharing it all.
Good. Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Janet, and I'm Janet from another planet. No, just kidding. I'm from Earth, but that's my name, my nickname, and I've had it since I was a kid. So I just thought, hey, that would be a great thing to do. So that's why I started using that. But I would love to hear all about what happened, and we'll share stuff in the chat so people can get to know about your experience and what happened to you. So
okay.
Go ahead.
I've been working as a photojournalist since 2016. I started at a local paper. My kids were getting old enough that I could work part-time. And about 6 months after I started just freelancing at a local paper, I got an opportunity to cover what was a large protest that was gaining national attention in Portland, June of 2017. And I covered that event and published a photo essay in the Federalist, and I have been going ever since, except for with a short break in 2020 when I opened a coffee shop and bakery. But as you can imagine, 2020 was not the best time to do that, so I went back to the photojournalism, and I have been doing that ever since. And what I cover and have covered are extremist movements on the West Coast.
Okay, great. So, where do you usually put your stuff? Do you put it on all your different platforms, like X and?
So I'm mostly a photojournalist and a videographer. So I put whatever. Actually, even if I do sell it, I'll put it on my X account, and some occasionally on Instagram and TikTok. But I did work for some publications up until just recently. The last one I worked for went out of business, or I'd still be there. And sometimes Fox will pick up my clips, or Storyful will license them, and then I of course will post on my own accounts. So
Awesome. So what happened to get you to where you feel like you're getting threatened, and you're in deep doo-doo basically? But the thing is, I think there's a lot of people out there that understand what you're going through and want to help you, because we're just thankful it's not in our own town. Like me, I left New Orleans, right outside of New Orleans, lived in Metairie, and I mean, it doesn't sound anything compared to what you go through, because you think that downtown New Orleans would be really crazy and stuff, right? But it's nothing. I've been watching stuff on the news, and it's just shocking to me what I'm seeing coming out of Oregon. And I haven't had anything like that. But I moved to Arkansas now, and where I'm at is like real hillbillyville, so way away from any of this stuff. But I still think it's important that people who aren't around a big city and have a lot of people that do these type of things with riots and stuff see it, because it's real. I mean, I have lived in bigger cities, but where I'm at now, you wouldn't see anything like this. And I think it's important that other people get to see what type of stuff that you've been having to deal with.
So when I started covering, there were some men that provided safety for me, not
Mm-hmm.
not because I asked them, but they were just in the same area and they're Proud Boys. This was back in 2017 before
Mm-hmm.
they'd been completely vilified. And so um, I would stick near them because I knew that the left was violent and might try to break my camera. And of course, I couldn't always be near them because sometimes they weren't at something I was covering. So, unfortunately, because I did that, I immediately was made an enemy of the left. Also, because they don't like photographers, of course, and videographers because they say cameras are cops. So I
That's really
gained,
sad because
yeah.
how do they expect to get their side out if they're mean to everybody that's trying to get the story, get the truth,
Well,
and they see it right in front of them?
they have their propaganda people that put out things without exposing people's faces. And
Mm-hmm.
I figure if you're in a public area and there's something happening that's newsworthy, you may end up on the news, and it's not my problem to edit your face out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I was doxxed even before I knew it. They made a post on the Rose City Antifa website that
Mm-hmm.
mentioned me. Um, and so I suppose you could say I gained a reputation among them. And then I was friends with Andy No, and he and I would occasionally go on the ground together. I've known him for a long time, and they hate Andy. He's enemy number one. So when he moved to go to London because it was unsafe for him to live in Portland,
Mm-hmm.
I became kind of the substitute. Andy, no. So in terms of danger, it's because they know who I am from my work and they just don't want me there covering it. So I've been doing this work for a long time. I've covered a lot of different events. I've been assaulted multiple times. But this summer, Katie Davis Court, who works at the same publication as Andy, and a friend of mine, we decided we were going to cover what was happening in Portland, and we decided to go in block. So
Mm-hmm.
we dressed up like they do, where you cover everything, and hoodies and face masks and gloves, and we were able to do that for a while and get away with filming amongst them without them noticing us. But at
Mm-hmm.
some point, there was too few of them, and they were looking for us. So at that point, I just said, I will go in as myself and not worry about it. And Katie started to as well, because they really were looking for her hard. So once we go in as ourselves, then we're immediately targets. And down at we're covering what's happening down at the ice building in the very southwest corner of downtown Portland. It's literally at the end of downtown. And this building is right off of a main road into downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of apartments and businesses around there. So it's, even though it's an area that's very easy to see, easy to access, these people have made it a living hell for the people who live there and made it difficult to get through the area. They'll sometimes take over the roads and direct traffic, stop people from coming down there. And they have had a sustained presence and regular um, encroachments into the building. Not all the way in because they have been stopped, but when they first started, I believe it was in June, they
Mm-hmm.
managed to break open the gates. I wasn't there. They broke open these big metal gates and they rolled, I believe, a burning dumpster, a literal dumpster fire up against the gates. They broke the glass. They injured officers. So the government had to immediately put plywood all over the bottom of the building where there was glass because they were
Mm-hmm.
breaking windows, and make it so that it was difficult to get inside the parking area of the building and assign federal protective services there and bring in extra people to guard the building so they could open it during the day and then keep the building safe at night. And that attracted a large crowd of people. um, Antifa, a lot of just regular protesters. When I say regular too, I mean like regular for Portland. So far left protesters,
Mhm.
pro open borders, pro anti ICE, and then Antifa, of course, the
Mhm.
communists in covered in black, calling everybody Nazis who's not with them, came, and they would throw fireworks into the building. They're really
Mhm.
good at making these improvised explosive devices using fireworks. So they would throw them in, they would block the driveways, they would tag the building, they would encroach and trespass on the onto the property regularly, and they do it late at night mostly. So after 9 o'clock, from 9 o'clock to like 2 a.m. And there are people, since they have extra people they need working there to
Mhm.
provide security, they have to drive their cars inside and park in there. So they would have to come out, clear them out of the road, allow the cars to go in, and then go back and shut the gate. And that becomes quite the process when you have 80 to 100 people screaming at you, throwing things, spitting on people, shining. Uh, I just was talking about this today. They have the strobing lights in
Mhm.
people's faces. So it's a lot of security that had to be put in there for their protest theater. So some
Yeah,
of it
but
was violent.
what I don't understand is why aren't the police showing up every day
Mm.
to escort people out and stuff and stop, the actual police from the state?
Okay.
Because if you were a battered woman and you needed someone to escort you from work, to get you into your car so you could leave, to get to your home or whatever, or from, let's say, jury duty. I've seen them do that where the cops make sure that the
Hmm.
jury can get to the cars. So why can't they have the cops do that every single day? Every day, make the cops do it so that they don't have to run over people or they don't get shot or their car damaged and things like that. If they're not going to arrest people, at least they could do is make sure that people can get to their vehicles and get out safely, you know?
So they don't do that because the city of Portland is a sanctuary city, and they
Mhm.
will not allow the police to. There's kind of two levels to this. They are a sanctuary city, so they're not going to want to be seen as helping ICE. That's part of their city policies and maybe law. And I believe as we're a sanctuary state as well.
Mhm.
Also, ICE and Federal Protective Services, FPS, that's who's actually guarding the building. They're allowed to use crowd control methods that the Portland police are not, like
Mhm.
tear gas, and how they can use shields, they can use an LRAD. So even if they were able to work with ICE having nothing to do with immigration, they wouldn't be able to help them clear the streets because ICE is using things that the police are not allowed to use.
Mhm.
One important thing to know about the city of Portland and their police is that the mayor is actually the police commissioner. There's only 3 cities in the US, I believe, that have this kind of policy. So the police are actually very politicized. So the rank and file have really no say in how they're able to police. And because we have far left politicians, they're very restricted in any kind of direction for the kind of
Mhm.
policing work they can do. And the
Yeah.
mayor said in the June 17th or 18th that they were not going to be in the area anymore. They weren't going to, and they literally just wouldn't even respond to 911 calls in the area for regular people. So
do the regular people still have to pay taxes since the police and stuff aren't going to come?
yes,
That's
they do.
ridiculous. And
At,
so, as far as I know, I think that the this administration is going to stop sending any federal aid to the state because of this, because they are defying by saying they're a sanctuary state. And what's so sad to me is I don't understand how a person that goes to work every day to pay their taxes, take care of their homes, trying to take care of their children, and pay their own bills, expect nothing from their police or their mayor or their chief of police or anyone that's supposed to protect them. I mean, what if somebody's attacking your kids or attacking your wife or your husband or whatever? You're just supposed to say, "Oh well, this is what happens when you live here." That's
yes,
ridiculous and sad.
it's basically too bad for you if you live in the area. And the
So, how about
apartment building,
businesses? Do you
it's
have a
it
lot of businesses leaving?
so in Portland in general, yes, there's a lot of businesses leaving, and that has to do with the economic climate and the lack of law enforcement on the
Mm-hmm.
streets, and the legalized hard drugs,
Mm-hmm.
which really just created open air drug dens and drug markets. They did change the law on that a little bit so that people would actually get in trouble. I think it's a ticket if they're caught using meth or heroin or fentanyl out on the streets. But I literally could drive up to Portland right now, and I guarantee you I could find 5 different spots where this is happening out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the amount of crime that is happening. I'm not good at the FBI crime statistics. I just know we don't have enough police, and I don't live in Portland. I live south of Portland. I used
Mm-hmm.
to live in Portland. We don't have enough police on the ground in the central precinct, which is in the area of the ICE building. There are only 10 officers on the ground at night. There should be 100, 100. So they have 10% of what they actually should have on the ground. So even without all of the problems with the sanctuary city policies and ICE, there's
Mm-hmm.
still not enough officers on the ground um, to help the area. And once the mayor said they were not going to get involved in June, they didn't come back up until just a few weeks ago. One of the residents of the low income housing across the street actually got a lawyer and sued the city. The lawyer was trying to force the city to enforce their noise ordinance. So at least the people next door could sleep at night and the noise should end around 10 and not start up again until 8 a.m. the next morning. But the city fought it and they won in court. They said it's a dangerous precedent to set to make the police enforce a law.
That's terrible because any cops that you do have that do see something and try to help someone, like their car's on fire and someone's trapped in it because someone threw a bomb out, one of those Molotov cocktails or whatever, and they get attacked. Okay, so why would anyone want to sign up to be a cop to protect people? Because
Yeah.
they're going to get killed. Or their family's going to be targeted because once they find out that cop tried to save someone that was on fire or whatever, they go, "Oh, let's harass the kids and the mom." You see, so no one's safe. I mean, to me, that's like, what's that movie that came out where people could just do whatever they wanted once a year?
Oh, I
That's
know
what
what
it
movie
sounds
you're
like.
talking about.
Well, that's what
Yes.
your cities that are doing this sound like. There's no rules. You can take out whoever you want and do whatever you want, and there's nothing going to happen to you, basically. So that sounds to me like every single drug cartel or any thug or rapist or serial killer would jump in their van and said, I'm moving to Portland because that's the city for me. Because man, I I don't have to pay taxes or nothing because everything's free. I can do whatever I want. It's sad because they're going to run out of money. They've got to. If you don't have enough income to pay people to come there, to buy homes or to do anything, sooner or later it's going to collapse, especially when the federal funds shut off. And I know that this Antifa groups are well funded because you have somebody there that cooks and feeds them, has food ready, has masks, whatever they're going to be
So
using to grow and all that stuff.
I'll push
So it's
back on
there.
that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying there isn't funding further up the chain, but the people on the ground, they most of them have jobs, not all of them, but a lot of them. And so they fundraise on Instagram and TikTok. They all have their cash apps out and their social media. And there are people that donate to them. I
Mm-hmm.
remember somebody in the ICE building telling me that they actually received packages of gas masks addressed to the encampment at the ICE
Mm-hmm.
building, that somebody had donated them. But I have seen people actually drive up, pull over, and get out pizza or deliver food, or I've seen them get food from a food bank in the building that's next door there, the apartment building. They have a storage unit close by, literally around the corner. They've had that all summer. So their community is funding them far and wide. There's a woman out of Seattle that has a large TikTok account that encourages people to send them things and money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting help from
Well,
all
that's what
over.
I'm saying. They are getting a lot of money.
But it's
So
individuals. It's like individuals in the community, which is wild to me. So Jane from Beaverton is going to send um, one of the rioters $50. Here, this is for pizza, or here's for masks. Somebody sent them a shipment of body cams for them to wear, so
mhm.
they can all have body cams. It's wild.
Well, the
So
thing is, the only way to stop these type of groups is to stop the money. Okay, because if they don't have money, it's not worth the risk to them anymore. And the to me, when you have police officers, mayors, and other people that are supposed to be in office because people voted them in to have a better community, a safe environment for their families to grow up in, to be able to go to work, come home, do all these things because they're being forced to pay taxes that they don't want to pay because it's not going to pay to take care of their families. So, and they can't afford to move because no one's going to buy their house in a riot-ridden town. No one's going to want to open a business in a riot-ridden town. They can't afford the insurance just to keep their business afloat. And when people can just come in and destroy whatever they have, why would they want to do that? So sooner or later, that's going to cave in. It can only last for a certain amount of time as long as there's money flowing.
yeah.
But the money's not flowing to the businesses. It's not flowing to the people to help them pay their bills. It's going to the people that are causing the problems. So I just don't see how they can withstand that. And one of the things that I have been had talked about a few times on a couple of my shows is the fact that a person gets arrested for throwing a bottle of lighter fluid or whatever it is, whatever they did. They get arrested, they go in, and then they're bailed out.
Mhm.
Somebody, okay, I can tell you right now, I'm not poor. I mean, I'm not going without meals and stuff, but I don't have a lawyer on retainer. And if I got arrested, I'm not going to have a lawyer right at that moment to get me bailed out.
I can tell you
I'll
how
be
they
out
do
the next
that.
day. So,
So they
mhm,
have the NLG, the green hats. I don't know how much you've watched of this, but
mhm,
they wear green hats. It's the National Lawyers Guild. It's a communist organization.
uh-huh.
And the lawyers are often, I think I only saw one last night, but there's usually a few. They'll get the name of the person that's been arrested, and they'll make sure that there's somebody at the jail advocating for them,
Yeah,
whatever
but
they need
where's
to
this
do.
come from?
Yeah, that's the money that I would like to know.
As far
who
as
is
I know,
funding the
people are
NLG.
looking into that because that is where Cash Patel and a bunch of them have been talking about more and more about cracking down on that. Because if you can find out that information for your own case on who's funding the other people, because if other people are funding these people to cause problems like that for you, so where you have to pay out of your own pocket and they don't, you can't withstand that.
Yeah,
See what I mean?
I
So
totally agree with that.
if they didn't have the money, they wouldn't be taking you to court because they'd be paying it out of their own pocket. And then they say, well, this ain't worth it. I can't afford it. I can't live here, or I'm going to lose my home, or whatever it is. Sooner or later, they'll quit doing it. And it's sad because you have a crooked system already that's attacking the person that defend themselves. It does.
Yeah,
It's upside down. And if people like us out here outside the state don't know about what's going on, we can't really help, and we can't share the information because we're only hearing one side, which is the biased news. The news is the virus. Basically, that's what I've always said. Because of the Smith-Mundt Act, they don't have to tell us anything that's true. They can say whatever they want.
yeah,
And thanks to Obama signing that into law, once they changed it up a little bit. But it's sad because we have so much corruption in so many levels of our governments in many states. Every state has some of it, but some states are just way worse than others. But what's sad is, and heartbreaking, that people like me need to get out, is people like you that are normal everyday people just like us, that just want to get married, have a family, live their lives, take care of themselves, and live within the laws that are around me. And we can't, because you can't go anywhere or do anything without the threat of somebody hurting you or hurting someone you care about. And that isn't what we thought America should be. Right?
oh no, I
So
agree.
your
Portland is,
story is important.
well, thank you. The lawsuit against me, um, just for somebody to understand kind of how they fund it, I turned the name over to a friend who did some research on it. And the
Mm-hmm.
lawyer that is suing me is what that is listed under the Antifa Watch website as a mutual aid lawyer. So that would be community crowdfunded, or potentially he's donating his services, and they're
Mm-hmm.
hoping they filed a lawsuit in a particular way so that if they even won a single dollar from me, then I would have to pay all their lawyers' fees, which would be far more than what they were asking for
Yeah.
pain and suffering. So that is one way that they both fund themselves and also make things painful for regular people to stand up against them.
Yeah. Because
So,
we're not made of money.
right?
We have to pay for our bills.
Right?
We
I had to
actually do stuff.
crowdfund to get a lawyer.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been able to do any of this had people not um, co- contributed to that fund. That
Yes, I'm
was
going to
it
bring your
was
website up real quick so somebody can
okay.
see it, uh, and why it's so important to help, because she is in a position, because she defended herself and her friend uh, against someone she felt threatened by. Now she could lose everything she has simply because they have tons of money and people backing them, and she's alone. See, and she's gonna need some help. So if you guys can, anyone that can share this link, because I'm going to share the link in the
Thank
chat.
you.
Really appreciate it. And this is recorded, so you can share this recording, and
Thank you.
I'll keep sharing it. It's going to stay up on my channel. But the thing is, it's important because these are the people we want to help. People who need help, that are trying to defend themselves in their own towns, and they're basically being strong-armed by their city by letting these people just run wild. and they have money coming from somewhere, because if they're running wild and they never have to go to jail because somebody else is paying all the bills, then the people that are trying to defend themselves are having to go to court. They have to pay their bills too and pay their law fees. So
Yeah.
this is why this is important. But go ahead and finish explaining that, and I'll share this stuff in the chat.
So I can tell you what happened.
Mhm,
They like to attack journalists, and
mhm,
that's why we disguised ourselves at first. And the day that I got attacked, well, I actually, it was harassment, and we were getting strobed. So strobing lights right in our faces, really, really bright.
mhm,
Somebody also had just a bright light that wasn't strobing. They were waving a flag around us. I actually got to review footage today that I have never seen of that night. And looking at the footage, I was shocked. It was a planned attack. And Katie and I were both really concerned because they'd run out our security before we even got there, and
mhm,
they were very aggressive. And so this happened where they surrounded us like on three sides and were trying to blind us and make it so we couldn't see. And I pepper sprayed one of them who was wearing a full face gas mask. And I didn't, I just wanted it to stop. I was blinded by the lights. So they stopped what they were doing. We moved away. I, I'm not going to say I forgot about it because it was very scary, but moved on with life, continued to cover, and then recently got served with this lawsuit for pepper
mhm.
spraying this person.
Yeah.
And the point was to bankrupt me, to stop me, and to enrich themselves. The person willing to sue me had to be willing to come forward out of
Mhm,
their mask of anonymity, and then the lawyer would be enriched as well. So, and
mhm,
it would just go to their cause. Um, but fortunately, people are helping me, so I'm able to hire an attorney. I still need more money. I'm not quite there yet to fund it, so that
mhm,
in case, so it's in Multnomah County, it's in Portland. So the courts there are not great. The judges are very progressive. I
mhm.
feel pretty good about the case at this point, but the concern is that we get a bad judge, and we have to go to arbitration first. So I have to pay for an attorney to go through arbitration before we might even end up in court. I don't want to settle. So, because I did nothing wrong.
Yeah, you
What
shouldn't. See,
one
that's
really,
the sad truth, is that people like you are forced to
yeah,
basically say, okay, I'll take it because I can't afford any other choice. And
that's
that's
the
wrong.
concern. Yeah.
Mhm,
So potentially, and I'm hoping this won't be like this, I could be looking, I was quoted originally, not with the attorney I hired, but the first one, 18 to $25,000. I think this attorney quoted me 15 to 20. Then
mhm,
there's a $10,000 the lawsuit, the award they're looking for. And
mhm,
then if I even lose a dollar to that, I have to pay their attorney's fees, which would be equal or more than my attorney's fees, probably more because they're going to want to charge more.
mhm.
So I'm looking at $50,000 and up if I lose. And that's that's the big issue. So I have it raised 23,000. So at this point, it's just going to depend on legal maneuvers if I'm going to
Mhm.
settle or not. And I absolutely know I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm not going to lose in court and lose my house.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
concern.
Mhm,
That would be like I have a 17-year-old daughter, and my adult son lives here. Like, this is the only thing I have. And they want to take that from me. They want me to stop reporting, and they want me to be afraid to defend myself.
mhm. Yeah,
And
that's what they want everyone to feel.
yeah, they want you to think you'll have nothing and don't try and fight them. And they'll do all kinds of things to make sure that you don't. And I haven't caved so far. And I have been assaulted 3 times after that since
Mhm,
then. punched in the head repeatedly, tackled and punched. Um, and then this man tried to rob me. Like he grabbed a hold of me and my phone and was trying to get the phone away and wasn't letting go of me. And when I finally broke away from him and ran, he coated me in bear spray. So
That's terrible.
it was horrific.
Mhm.
And we've only, and you think, well, what did you do for somebody to be so mad at you? Nothing. Just go there and film. That's all it takes. Um,
Mhm.
the women that attacked me, that punched me repeatedly, have been identified, and so far, no movement on that whatsoever from the police. Really, it's from the DA. The DA has to want to prosecute.
Mhm.
And the police really wanted to investigate the robbery and go after that. But of course, I don't know who that was because he had a mask on. So the
Mhm.
one that they say they want to prosecute, we don't know who he is. So
Well,
we got to move.
you did have some footage of one of the incidences, right? And that's what
Yes.
you're using in court.
Um, so what I'm using in court is
Mhm.
from the incident where I defended myself and nothing
Yeah.
happened to us. So
Mhm.
that came, I have some footage, Katie has some footage, and then we have footage from the ICE facility itself. And then when I was punched, there was somebody 4 floors up in the apartment building that saw me getting attacked it was like 2 incidents within 5 minutes of each other. Saw
Yeah.
me getting attacked, ran to get his phone, caught the second attack. And then not even all of it because he thought it was so bad he thought I was going to be killed. And so he hung up
Mm.
his phone and dialed 911. The police did not come. I had to walk to find the police. When my colleague Katie, she's a reporter working for the Post Millennial,
Mhm.
um, she got hit in the face with a metal flagpole by someone, and we had to walk 6 blocks to find the police. And we had the person there who did it. And the liaison officers are not allowed to arrest anyone. They can ask somebody if they want to be detained. And of course, she told them they could F off and walked away. And we followed the suspect while talking to the police, and they wouldn't come and pick her up.
That's
So,
terrible.
yeah. Um,
And
and
but did the cops do anything for you when you finally did get to them, since they didn't want to go back and
they took a report,
yeah, that's
gave
pretty
us a
sad.
report number. It's terrible. And this is because of the political games that the mayor is playing with the police.
Mhm.
So, the rank and file, of course, would like to arrest people who are committing crimes, um, but they're not allowed. So, and
Well,
then
see,
there has to be the will to prosecute. Huh?
what's really sad about all this is, okay, um, Ace Frehley died today from Kiss. You know him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He fell and he hit his head months earlier at his home, and they think he had a brain bleed from that, and that he eventually died, and that's what
Oh,
they we'll find out for sure what happened. But it does happen. People get in a car accident, they hit their head on the steering wheel, they don't even realize they have a headache, but they don't realize how bad it is because they're conscious and they can think and talk and do whatever, and then they die from it, an aneurysm, things like that. And what's really sad is how many people that are beaten or hit or thrown to the ground or whatever can happen in all of these different riots that are taking place in all these different states. How many people later on, within a month or so, might die from the incident? And it will take medical, look it up, the autopsy and all this stuff to figure that out. And there's be a bunch of people be suing these cities over all this.
I'm
That's
surprised
why
nobody
this is
has died
important.
yet.
Yeah, I
I,
am too. I really
yeah.
am. But
Um,
that's why it's important that you're getting all this information together, because if something does happen later on in all the footage that you've done from the past before your incident, it might be able to help somebody. in the future. So
Well, we
that's
collect a
really
lot.
outrageous. Mhm.
We're still going out. I During the summer, we thought, well, Tom Homan did come, but we were like, we were really wanting to interview Tom Homan. So there
Mhm.
was like 3 or 4 weeks that we were every night, just in case. Like we were there, just is Homan here? Like we really wanted to talk to him, um, and let him know what was going on the ground. I'm sure, of
Mhm.
course, he knew, but as reporters, we wanted to talk to him. And so after that, we kind of cut it down to 3 to 4 nights a week. And right now, I still am going out. I'm going out one weeknight and on the weekend. And
Mhm.
so we're still documenting. It's still going on. It ebbs and flows, but there's never a night where there's no one down there.
Mhm.
So um, we just uh, that we talk to the people in the building that live in the apartment building next door. I have
Mhm.
become friends with some of the people, so we hear about what it's like on a nightly basis for them. And really, so my heart goes out to them. Like we of course don't like getting insulted, but we are not the story. It's part of the story, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
and I also think about the families of the law enforcement officers that did not ask for this. Like they're worried about their houses, their homes being doxxed, their children at schools. It's got to be stressful on marriages. It's a very, I mean, like they didn't sign up for that. They just,
Mhm.
most of these people are like, we're just protecting this building, and their lives are pretty normal as FLEOs. And then the next thing you know, they're in the middle of riots.
Mhm.
Um, that whole neighborhood is disrupted. The restaurant, there's this huge family restaurant. Up until last week, there was only one way to get into that restaurant, and it's going right by ICE. And that affects the people that work there, and the bottom line of the restaurant there. Restaurants, it's hard to make money.
Mhm.
It's just, it's such a disruption, and most of the actions that I've seen, there's something illegal going on every night,
Mhm.
and the city does nothing. So
But also, when you mentioned earlier that a lot of the people that are coming there to riot and cause problems for ICE all have jobs. Okay.
yeah.
And the ones that have jobs, why do they think that if they keep doing this that they're going to keep their job? Not because that person's going to fire them, but because they have to go out of business because of no people going to the restaurants. People aren't going to get in their car, drive to a riot infested area, and go to the restaurant to eat, knowing
So
that they
it
could
it
get
is
hit or
only,
hurt or killed.
it's a small area where this is happening.
Yeah.
They keep saying 1 block. I'm saying it's more like 4 or 5 blocks. That is severely impacted, or at least regularly impacted. Um, so I don't know where all of these people work. They seem to have nice cars and time to time to come down there. Some of the people don't have probably super well paying jobs, but some of them do. Um, One of my attackers, I know she has a good job and she has a nice car. So I don't think it really will impact them. The city is kind of, it's a beautiful city. I mean, it used to be just, it's still pretty. It's just pockmarked with damage and human misery. Now, 20 years ago, it was the prettiest city I've ever been to. So I
Mhm.
think a lot of these people just don't feel the impact in their own neighborhoods, and haven't felt the impact yet for their business or lack of federal funds. I do think that's coming. But the people that are committed to being on the ground are not going to care, because they're communists and they want the capitalist system overthrown. They're happy if the system crashes. They
Well,
want that.
see, what's funny is socialism is for the people, not the socialists. The people who think they're above everyone else because they want communism and they want socialism, they feel they'll be living up here where the others will be living down here. What they don't realize is that there's only a few people that want to be at the top, and they're not going to let you. It doesn't matter what you think you're doing to get them there. They're not going to let you be there. See,
Yeah.
with them, they
Oh
don't
yeah.
realize that yet until you go and you talk to other people that have gotten away from China and other places and find out what real communism really is. They just don't understand what they're doing. They're young and they're not thinking about it. And the older ones just think, oh, well, at least I have friends, whatever the reason why they think it's important to do it. They're doing it for the wrong reasons. They just don't understand. I mean, I have lived in the Philippines back years ago when I was a little kid in the Philippines when Marcos was president. And I'm telling you, you don't want to live like that. You do
Um,
not want to live with
I love
nothing when you're.
capitalism. I think it's great. Like I want to have like I think our government is actually too involved in businesses and we have crony capitalism
Mhm,
sometimes, a lot of the time. I'd like freer markets, but these people believe that it's the answer to all of their problems. And not every single person down there is a communist or a socialist, but the
mhm,
core group is. You'll get,
mhm,
of course, anytime you have a movement where there's protests like that and it gets going, you're going to have people that are just coming down to watch and people who are true believers, and then the people that are attracted to it because they can enact violence.
mhm.
And there is some overlap between those communists, the people that want an overthrow, and the people who like violence. So that's part of what's going on down there. It can be like a party for these people, a social event too.
Well, some of them, yeah. But what's
Yeah.
sad is that it only takes one bad one person to
Yeah.
come from somewhere else
Yep.
because he hears about what's going on and thinks that this is ripe for the picking. And I'm going to
Hmm.
go in and I'm going to do this. And he knows who to go to. Believe me, they know what they're doing. And they go in and they get buddy with some of these people. And those people that he's involved with, some of them are going to get hurt too. And
Yep.
I hate to say that, but that is what's happened if you go and sit down and actually start researching some of the areas and what kind of thing happens. They would realize that they're at risk. But a
You
lot of
are
these people
right.
think they aren't. See, they think they're untouchable because they got a lawyer waiting for them. They got this waiting for them. They got people sending them food. They're not thinking about what could happen tomorrow. See, and that's why they keep showing up. They don't
Yep.
realize it.
Yep.
So,
It's a fool's errand,
mhm,
and I mean they may actually. So I personally think the more dangerous things that are happening currently in
mhm,
Oregon, outside of our lack of policing and the criminal element, which is a huge problem,
yeah,
um, and that's also because of lack of officers,
mhm,
is I see a radical element out in the community spotting ICE. And I don't know if you saw these posts yesterday that I posted. And it's somebody that's a far left activist that was arrested in 2020. And she actually boxed in some ICE officers' vehicles with her vehicle and recruited other people to box in these officers' vehicle. They had to drive
mhm,
over a curb through some landscaping to escape. Um,
mhm.
they were out in the community trying to pick up an illegal, and this woman also got out of her vehicle after blocking them and put her body in front of these officers' van. And they
Yeah, I'm
were
gonna
like,
bring that back up.
"Yeah, you should. It's wild." And
Yeah,
then
is this part of the story right here?
oh,
It says caught on camera, Hillsboro
yes, yes,
neighborhood. Okay,
yes,
yeah.
that's it.
I was reading all this earlier. So
It's a
yes, it's pretty
suburb
bad.
of Portland,
Mhm.
about 20 minutes east of downtown.
Yeah,
And
I shared your link for your X profile
thank
in the
you.
chat. And anyone who's interested in finding out all this information, she's got so much stuff about what's going on and videos and details that are very important if you want to know just a small amount of what's actually going on. I mean, look at that. This whole street is barren. So whoever lives on this street or works on this street, they're going to have a hard time even getting down the street because these people aren't going to let you by. It doesn't matter whether you're in labor or you need to go have surgery or whatever it is that you need to have done. They don't care.
There
All
is
they
a
care
big
about is blocking this street.
there's a big
So,
hospital complex
mm-hmm.
further down there. So, and
Yeah.
the only way out onto Macadam, which goes up to there's a hospital at the bottom of the hill, which is where that's
Mm-hmm.
at, and then
Yeah.
a connecting hospital up at the top of the hill. And the only way out is to go up that direction. That's the closest way, is past ice. Also, they were having helicopters, I believe it was border control, fly
Mm-hmm.
in the area for a while. I don't know if they still are. I did hear one last night, but I don't know if that's who it was. And Antifa put out a flyer saying they were going to use the lasers on
Mm-hmm.
to try and blind the helicopter pilots. And so then that ceased the life flight for the hospital at the top of the hill for that
Mm-hmm.
evening. It was a direct action. And I do know that's a concern. One of the first nights they had the helicopters flying out, there was somebody, it turned out to be an illegal immigrant, that used a laser, and they found this person, because of course that's a felony,
Mm-hmm.
and arrested them. And I don't know if they'll go to prison and then get deported or if they'll just deport them. So there's a lot of things they do outside of these protests in the communities that are very dangerous. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a flyer where they were going to protest, do a noise thing at a local ICE officer's home in Southeast Portland, which is unacceptable. Like,
Yeah.
and the city won't do anything about that. I mean,
Well,
these,
I really do hope, and I know I'm not usually an advocate for people just suing and stuff like that, but I really do hope that we can get enough people to back people like you, so that people like you that have tried to get the word out and have tried to show what's going on are able to sue this city for not bringing the police out when you called 911. You got a police report that proves that you had to walk 6 blocks with a girl with a bloody nose because she got hit in the face, and no one would come. So to me, all those are legitimate reasons to actually go to court. And even if you don't win, if you do go and you get there and people support you and they see how corrupt the courts are, maybe something good can come out of it. I mean, something good has got to come sooner or later, because I just can't see how this can just keep going and going and going and have anyone left, any good people, because every good person that can afford to leave is going to leave.
oh, yeah. A lot of people talk about leaving, and a lot of people I know have left. People will write me and say that they've left because they can't deal with this anymore. I do know that they're losing federal funding, and that's going to cause a budget crisis. And
Mm-hmm.
they're continuing to double down. You don't lose all of it; you lose it in pieces, is my understanding. And
Yeah.
they're doing the best they can to lose every single piece of federal dollars. Like they are literally defying every order they possibly can, it feels
And,
like.
and what's sad is they're doing all of this for people who have not paid a dime into the system. All the people that have been paying Social Security and other taxes their whole life since the first day they got a job, and they got their little thing and they opened and it says FICA on it and all the different things of taxes that were taken out of their first check. Those people are the ones that are being given a big FU, basically, by your
You'd be
state.
surprised how many people um in Portland
Mm-hmm.
do not agree with you and me, that they have doubled down, tripled down on it's like almost like they can't connect the dots between the economic issues and the downturn and the policies. And I don't know how to fix that.
Well, the thing is, when Trump turns off their funds, any federal money. So they're not getting any more funds, and he's only paying the military and ICE and WIC and stuff like that with the money he's collecting from tariffs. When he does those things, tries to keep those people above, where they need to be. The rest of them are going to gripe and complain and say how horrible and terrible and what a Nazi or whatever of people that believe that these people shouldn't get their money. But I don't believe that my tax dollars should go to pay for a mayor who's not looking out for my best interests in a city, in my town. I don't want to pay for the police chief or any of these people's taxes or pay them money. That's what I mean, out of my taxes,
Right.
when they're not trying to defend me anymore. Now they're trying to defend a person who has never put one dime into this economy since they came here. They just came here and they've been living off of me. I'm paying for their medical. I'm paying for their place to live. I'm paying for their everything. And that guy down the street who put all his life into it is not getting any of this help that he should. That money should be going to American citizens. And that's how I believe. I'm an Air Force brat. I grew up on military bases and traveled around, and I want to see veterans not in the street and homeless. I want to see them getting help to get off drugs or alcohol. That's where I want my money to go. I don't want to go with someone who just walked over the border and thinks that has his hand out waiting for his free stuff that he never earned. I just don't see any reason for any of us to want to do that. And
I agree
I look at it.
completely. But we have people in this largest city in the state, and they disagree. They want to help these people. We have, remember the number now, it was a lot of money spent on providing free health insurance
Yeah, but
to
whose money? See, that's
undocumented immigrants. Oh,
yeah,
it's
but if
federal and
I mean,
state dollars
if
both.
it was their money, if you got a rich person that's like the governor and other people that are really rich and they want to take their money and put it in a fund and pay for all the illegals, let them do it. But why should that lady down the street that's
I
living in
agree.
free housing have to take any money out of her money and give it to an illegal that's not putting it? See, that's what I'm saying. Tell them to put their money where their mouth is. Let me see you. I saw this wonderful video of a guy, and he pulls up, and two guys get out with clipboards, and they go to the door of this really, really nice home. And I don't know what state it was in, but it was funny. And she answered the door, and they're asking her, it's a survey, what do you think about illegals and all this stuff? And she says, I think we should help them and all this stuff. And he says, well, great. And he goes like this, he whistles, he waves his arm, and a truck pulls up, and all the like 20 guys start getting out with backpacks and stuff. And he goes, come on. She said, yeah, you guys got a place to stay. And she's like, what? No, they can't stay here. But see, that's what they all do. Just like when they took a few illegals to, what was it? Up
Martha's
near Martha's
Vineyard.
Vineyard. Remember?
Yeah.
They threw a tantrum.
They
But see,
couldn't bust them out fast
to
enough.
put up with it, but they don't want to put up with it in their own neighborhood. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. And that's like I said, socialism is for the people, not the socialists. The ones who's going to push it down on you are not going to live that way. They're going to have their milk and their steak and their nice home, and you're going to have glop, whatever it is that they can throw at you, and your little hole in the wall cardboard box. That's you're happy. You're going to have nothing and be happy.
I completely agree with you. I just, until you meet these people, it's like it's hard to believe that so many of these people exist. And it's like a switch gets flipped in their brain, and they're like, there's no undocumented people and stolen land. Like you can't say that if this is stolen land. So there's
was raised on an Indian reservation. My great grandmother was raised on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma. And so when people start saying all this different stuff about the first people that were here and all that stuff, I have that in my family, in my bloodline, and they got treated pretty well afterward. Now with the casinos, them helping them and all these different things, they've been taken care of. But countries get conquered. That's what happens since the beginning of man. And even though we came in, we have the strongest, most free country in the whole world. No other country can you go in and just walk in and get free shit. You can't even go to Mexico and say, "Hey, I want to be a Mexican. I want you to hand me my free stuff." They
Yeah,
don't
they
throw you
don't do
the hell
that.
out. Canada is one of the only other countries that does it. And look at them. They're happy because they got a great big snuggie of America hugging them, protecting them. They know they're never going to get invaded by,
Hmm.
some other country because we're going to stop them. So, I was born in Canada too. I was born in Newfoundland because my
Oh,
dad was in
wow.
the military. So
Okay.
I have all my sisters were all born in different places, but I got to see a lot of the world. My dad was jungle survival, and he trained pilots and stuff on what to do if you crash and you're in the desert or you're in the jungle, different places like that. How you're going to survive. So I got to see a lot of the other countries and how they treated their people. Because I was a tomboy, I hung mostly with my dad, but we're lucky to live in America.
Yeah.
We just don't realize how good we got it. Most people don't, because when you have a silver spoon, basically, which means you never have to worry about eating, you never have to worry about not having a place to sleep. Even the homeless people, they get food, they can get clothing, they can get stuff
Hmm.
in our country. Other countries, not so much. You just you die in the street. You get your hands cut off, or they just beat you with stones or whatever it is, because you're nothing, you're garbage. But here, people still want to help you. It doesn't matter. Even your prisons, people in prison are treated better than most people in homeless people in other countries. So we have it pretty good. Now this is sad what's going on where you're at, but we have laws, and when you're assaulted in the street and you can't defend yourself, you got a problem. And that's why I'm so thankful that we have people like you that are willing to get down and dirty, get down in the trenches and actually get this stuff and show it to people. And if people are interested and they really want to see the truth, you're the type of person that's going to show it to them if they want to see it. And that's the truth, is that people don't want to see it. They don't want
They
to
don't.
know. They don't want to know the truth.
They
And I'm
don't.
thankful that we still have people like you that are willing to, risk things in their life. And I'm thankful that neither one of you were hurt really bad, or
Thank
you had
you.
a bloody nose or whatever. But gosh, every time you go out there, I get white knuckle thinking about it, because you just
We
don't know.
do have security now. We have a couple of guys, but one guy in particular, Travis, who will go with us. And
Mhm.
there's other guys that show up too. And that makes all the difference. So it's definitely better. And that started happening after Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Yeah.
Men just started showing up without even asking. So it's been
Well, that's
great.
good. I'm thankful. See, there are good people, even in bad places, in bad situations. People shine. I remember the first time that I really felt inside my soul that I had to be one of those people, that I'd be willing to, help someone, even though I'm probably going to die if I do it. When I saw that gentleman, I think that plane skidded off the runway and it went into the Potomac,
Oh,
and the people were
yes.
freezing to death. I mean, within feet of the shore, and the guys in their suits and everything in their water
And
gear
they
wouldn't get
jumped
in the
in.
water. And that guy was standing there watching that woman, and he just took his shoes and his jacket and stuff up and dove in and went in and grabbed her and brought her to shore and risked his life to save someone. A
I
total
remember that.
It did.
It
I just
was,
bawled my eyes out, and I just was so proud. I said, he's a real Superman. Is what I was telling my mother about that. I remember that. And that's how I feel. Those are superheroes. People like you, that you're not wearing a cape.
I don't think
Okay.
I'm a superhero.
Well,
I think the
I think
guys that
you
show
are.
up, thank
I
you.
think you are, because you're willing to still go out and try to get people to see the truth. And that's what's important. And if more people would do what you're doing, I can't even imagine how great or wonderful United States would be. I
I
really believe
think
that.
so. Katie and I, especially Katie, unfortunately, I just have a lower profile, so I kind of have escaped some of this. But we have been smeared by all of our local media, our senators. I don't know if state reps got involved.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'm trying to think. I've been contacted by some different large media outlets. I know this guy from the Washington Post wanted to interview me, and they're trying to make it sound like Katie and I have been lying about this. They call us influencers. We're both journalists. They're trying to make it sound like it's
Yeah.
propaganda.
Hmm.
And it's like, it's kind of a multi-pronged attack on us, uh, just for telling the truth of what we saw.
Hmm.
It's wild to me that it seems very coordinated, um, from the city council members to the senators to the representatives. They're going down to ice during the day and being like, "Oh, it's so dangerous," posing with the inflatable animal things down there. Um, and I heard Jimmy Kimmel talking
Hmm.
about that there was, nothing going on there, and it was just amazing to me that in such a coordinated fashion, they all decided to produce the same message. There's nothing going on here. Those people are media influencers. They're lying about what happened. Like, we literally have video of every night we were down there.
Hmm.
This is
But
not
see,
hard.
that's what I'm saying. You keep doing this right here, it's speaking in spaces and telling people the truth and what you've seen, what happened to you, and keep people updated on what's going on with you going to court and all these things. They can't stop the truth. You see what I mean? The truth is going to come out, and it is coming out. It's just that it's going to take longer to get more people to find out about it because we're so small. We don't have networks pushing our stuff. See,
They can't
so we
stop
have
the
to fight.
signal. They cannot
That's
stop
right.
the
We have to
signal.
fight the only way we have, and that's this. They can't stop all of us. I've had my channel taken down many times, but
Oh, wow.
I've talked about the Podesta and Hillary Clinton emails. I talked about Comet Ping Pong, and I got in trouble for that. I talk about lots of different things about child trafficking. I've done, I've had lots of guests, and I've had my channel taken down for 2 weeks. And while you're
Oh,
down, you don't get any views, which means, I'll probably never be monetized, which is fine. I don't care. I don't do it for that. I do it because I want people like you to have a voice, and other people who want to find out about it have a chance to see it and hear it, and then get their links and share them with other people. Because believe it
thank
or
you.
not, we are making a difference. I can see it. I've listened to people, and more and more people are opening their eyes. I mean, look, why did Trump win again? If you think about it, because people
Yes.
are waking up, and they couldn't have, even though I know that a lot of people cheated. I know that. It's more of that stuff's coming out too. Even in your state, I'm telling you, a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
more people voted your way, the way that you believe, that for the people of Oregon, than they voted for giving all their money to other people that didn't even do anything to earn it. So I can tell you right now, I do believe that. And I believe that in almost every single state, we have more people that want what we're trying to get out, the truth, and to have a safe place to walk your kid down the street, to just
Yeah.
be a person, hug your grandma, go somewhere for Thanksgiving, go to the park, do things with your families, which we're afraid to do because the crime is so bad, or because we're afraid that if we drive down the wrong road, we might end up in the middle of a riot. It's
Yes.
sad that we have to live that way, and we shouldn't have to. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight and sharing your story. And I hope that everything keeps going your way. And I'm going to keep trying to keep up with you, and see how everything goes, and keep sharing. I'll keep sharing your link for your
Thank you so
GoFundMe,
much.
because I believe in this. I believe that people like you are the reason why the truth is getting out, because there's more and more people that are fighting to get the facts out, even against a lot of people's own thoughts, because they think, oh, that's not what I want. But once they get it, because everything that we're doing to try to make it more free and more safe, they're going to get it too. They're going to have a safer place to live. Even though they're fighting against us, they're going to end up getting the
They'll still
benefits.
benefit. Yeah.
That's right. And that's what
Thank
I
you.
definitely. Well, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry it was so hard. My
It's
mic, I was
okay.
like, what is going on?
It's okay. I felt bad. I thought it was me. So
No, I was trying to talk, and I went, oh, if she can't hear me, I got to get in, send her a message because she can't hear anything I'm saying. So, but thank you so much. And
Yeah.
you're just wonderful. I think you're a wonderful,
Thank
wonderful
you.
person to go through what you're doing. And I'm thankful that we have people like you out there that are trying to get the truth out. And I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You're
Okay.
very welcome. And
All right.
everybody, I just shared the link for her Gives and Go in the chat again. So please copy that and paste it somewhere and keep it and share it with people and share her story. Go to her X account, read her timeline. It's very informative. There's tons of good information on there. And also read the comments that people post, because you'll also meet some really good people that post in the comments saying,
Yeah.
they're supporting her, things like that. And you follow these people. These are the kind of people you want to follow and have following you back. So, oh,
For
hi, my
sure.
sister just showed up. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. But thank you so much again. And if you ever want to come back and bring your friend or anyone else that you think wants to have something to say or get it off their chest or share good information, let me know,
Okay.
because I just love it. I love Thursday nights, and that's just for me to have one guest, because Friday night's a shit show and I have a panel and we talk about all the bullshit that's going on. So
Okay.
it's a lot. But I
All
really
right.
appreciate you. And you
Thank
guys have
you.
a wonderful, wonderful weekend that's coming up, and enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.